And so if Kreia is this person and the game has fast forward and turbo mode, then this game, Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails, is definitely a Trails game. And for the purposes of this review, I'm not going to get into story spoilers, but I will talk about some of the things present in the game, such as character names and how the seasons work and the overall gameplay and things like that. Because honestly, I think a lot of people are skipping out on what might possibly be one of the most integral games in the upcoming Trails games. Now, for those unaware, Legend of Nayuta follows Nayuta Herschel, no relation to Towa Herschel from Cold Steel, right? Who is living on Remnant Isle with his sister, Eartha. One day, after coming back from a voyage with his friend Signa, a giant ruin falls from the sky and the two set off to investigate. While investigating, they meet Noi, a small fairy-type character on the run from a scary mage, Zext, and his masked swordsman with silver hair. Where have we seen that before? And thus they are pushed onto a journey into Terra, where the two find out that the seasons are completely out of whack, and a mysterious girl who looks oddly like a young asleep. And so it is up to Nayuta and Signa and Noi to figure out what Zek's plans are and put a stop to them. And this is pretty much how the rest of the game plays out. You visit the different continents on Terra, you explore for different items, you free those continents, and you move on. Now, I'm kind of oversimplifying for the sake of being as spoiler-free as possible in this review, but it's this gameplay loop in Legend of Nayuta that I found really quite addicting, which works given the fact that this game was originally a PSP game that released in 2012, hence the game's more vintage look and sound and feel. And honestly, as dated as the game may be in some regards, I found that it holds up pretty well here in 2024. Now, I mentioned the gameplay loop a second ago, how you go to the different continents and you free them and things like that. But to really get more granular, the continents are broken up into different stages that all have their own sets of challenges to complete, as well as crystals and a chest or two to locate. And when you do all of those things in a stage, you are rewarded based on how well you did with a certain amount of stars. Those stars then get put in your swordsman training book that you can then take back to Remnant Isle and talk to Master Orbis, who trains Signa in the way of the sword, and he'll teach you new abilities and new moves that will then help you as you progress further into Terra. So you'll learn things like maybe doing 7 attacks in a string of combos instead of just doing 5. Maybe you'll learn an aerial dodge. Maybe you'll learn a flashy little spin sword move, or maybe you'll get better with 1 or 2-handed swords. And it's a cool gameplay loop that encourages you to find everything and explore each stage in Terra thoroughly. So not only do you get all the extra goodies, like maybe a new sword, a piece of armor, something that helps out Noi, or maybe something that you can put into the museum, which, hang on, I'll get to the museum here in a little bit. But you explore and you're rewarded for it in a variety of ways. And the 3-star system, I think, is actually really smart, really good, and it fits for these bite-sized stage design things with the continents. Now, I mentioned the museum thing, and the museum in this game was one of my favorite aspects of it. In Animal Crossing, I would spend hours trying to collect everything in the museum on my island and trying to fill that out as fast as humanly possible. And the same thing is true here. I tried to really find and explore Terra to the point where I was smashing rocks, flowers, all these things, just trying to find as many fossils or geodes or bugs or all sorts of things that I could fill out my museum. And there was a sense of joy just going into a certain room and just seeing all the things that I had discovered and unlocked. My favorite room easily is the fossil room with like the dinosaurs and the different animals. Like, it's a cool room. The other one is the flashy kind of gemstone room where you have the suits of armor, where again, one suit of armor looks oddly familiar if you've played the Cold Steel games, specifically 3 or 4. What's that about? Not only that, the museum curator mentions a certain empire. But that's one part of the gameplay loop, is you're going through the stages, you're trying to get 3 stars, you're trying to unlock things, and you don't really have to do that, but it is worth your while in doing so. Not only that, as you're exploring the places in Terra, you'll get ingredients that you can then take back to Eartha, and she'll teach you new recipes that One of my favorite things about this game too is the fact that eating is a way of getting experience and getting more stronger and going up in levels, which is like so cool. This is my kind of game. And so you're doing that, you're unlocking those things, but not only that, you also got to find where Mishi is. Now, if you played the Cold Steel games, and really even the Crossbow games too, you know all about Mishi. So why is Mishi here? So I'm just saying that there's a lot of cool things that this game has going for it that gives you plenty to do, that really when you look at the game and you first see it, you're kind of like, man, there probably isn't much to do. It seems very basic. And to a degree, it is kind of basic, but there's so many things to unlock. There's so many things to find. There's so many things to cook and so many places to explore that it just makes playing the game and revisiting the different areas in different seasons, it makes it all worthwhile. And not only that, oh my goodness, I don't think there was a single bad boss fight in this game. Not only does every boss have some pretty good music to accompany the battle that fits it, but every boss fight challenges you to utilize the skills that you have so far in the game. So as you unlock new abilities, don't forget how to use them, because they're going to come into play at the end of each continent when you fight a boss. Oh, duh, use the breaker thing because they're hard. And these bosses are just really cool. They're big, they're really cool set pieces, and the final boss, which I won't spoil, is just so stinking cool. Big, it's grand, the music just swells, it's really, really great. And the truth of the matter is that once you finish the game, you're not quite done yet. I'm not gonna say what happens or where it goes, but I'll encourage you to at least save your game and go back to the main menu for a nice surprise. Now, I recently did a video ranking every game in the Trail series, link in the description box below, and if I were to place Legend of Nayuta anywhere on that tier list, I would probably put this game at the A tier pretty easily. There's some story beats and complaints I have with some of the controls, like using the gear grappling thing was a little too wonky for me at times. The controls for doing the different combos, like the jumping one specifically, was a little hit or miss at times, and there's some weird timing elements that goes into it that I found really was more difficult and less forgiving than something like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat even. But all that aside, it kept it from being a S tier game, but an A tier game is right where I'd place it. I think that fits really well at the A tier. And honestly, for the majority of the time I was playing Nayuta here on YouTube, which you can go see the whole playthrough on the playlist under the live tab, it was definitely at the S tier for the longest time. And the best part about The Legend of Nayuta is that you don't have to play any other game in a series to enjoy this one. And honestly, we're still waiting to hear how Falcom will confirm or deny if this game is actually part of the Trail series, although it does make me think it is based off this timeline they posted on their website for the 20th anniversary, because Nayuta is in the timeline along with the Cold Steel games, the Crossbow games, the Sky games. Why would they include Nayuta if it wasn't a Trails game? But even if it's not, in the meantime at least, it's fun to check out the world of Terra and Remnant Isle and let our imaginations fly. And so those are my thoughts on Legend of Nayuta. For the more spoiler stuff, you can go into the live playlist and check those out. I share a lot of thoughts about the game over there and talk about it as I'm playing, and you can go check that out on the playlist here in the live tab. But thank you for watching this video. If you want more Trails or Falcom related content, why not hit that subscribe button for more? And if you liked this video, hit the like button and leave a comment down below of what you thought of Legend of Nayuta and how you think it ties into the Trail series. Or maybe it doesn't. Either way, comment down below. And until next time, happy trails.